Hello. Welcome back from your vacation. I hope it was a great one and hope you're ready to have a great second semester. What we're going to do today and tomorrow, first 2 days, Thursday and Friday, is review the factoring that we learned before we started studying for the exam. So what I'm going to do is break it up into 2 videos. First one for today, second one for tomorrow, and it's nothing more than a review, but I do want you to watch the videos and take notes. All right, let's begin. First of all, what is factoring? It's important that you know what you're doing, or not just be able to do the steps, but understand exactly what it is. Definition of factoring. Factoring is writing an expression as a product of factors. And you've done this in elementary school. You take 6, for instance, and you write it as 2 times 3. It's the product of 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are factors. You can break this number up into a product of factors, unless it's prime. Of course, what we're doing is a lot more fun. First step is to always look for a common factor. No matter what you do, always look for the common factor first. I can't overemphasize that. You always look for the common factor. There's not always going to be one. Most of our examples today and tomorrow won't have them, but we look for them. When you're looking for the greatest common factor, but we want the greatest common factor, look at the coefficients and the variables separately. All right? For example, 6x to the 4th plus 33x cubed plus 36x squared has a common factor of 3. 3 goes into 6, 33, and 36. And it has a common factor of x squared because each one of these has at least 2 factors of x. So the greatest common factor is 3x squared. And to factor that, we do reverse distribution. 3 times what equals 6? 2. And we need 2 more factors of x. So we have 2x squared. 3 times what is 33? 11. We need 1 more factor of 3, so we have 11x. And 3 times what is 36? 12. And since we have 2 factors of x here, 2 factors of x here, we don't need any more factors of x, and it's just 12 here. Notice when you look at this, what's left, there are no common factors here. If you factor and you have a common factor left in here, you didn't do it all the way. And know when to stop. When you're factoring and you find the greatest common factor, if it exists, then you can continue with reverse binomial multiplication. But you're not always going to be able to continue. If you can't continue, you can't continue. All right, sometimes after finding the greatest common factor, you're done. If the polynomial that's remaining is in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, if it's in this form, then you may or may not be able to continue. But if it's not in this form, there's nothing else you can do for now. Later on, we'll have some exceptions. But for now, when you're done, if you don't have it in this form, really can't go on. All right, factoring trinomials. There are 3 different cases, and we've talked about 2 of them. Case 1, the leading coefficient is 1. Case 2, the leading coefficient is a prime number. And case 3, the leading coefficient is neither 1 nor a prime number. The video that you need to watch before Monday, we will be looking at case 3. All right, case 1, the leading coefficient is 1. So for instance, factoring x squared minus x minus 56, leading coefficient is 1. That means the first terms of each of these factors must be x. We then look at the factors of negative 56. All right? Because it's negative, we have to have a plus and a minus. So, I want to write down the factors of 56. So we have 56 and 1. 56 and 1. If I double 1, I get 2. So I doubled that, means I cut this in half, 28. I double 2, I get 4. Cut this in half, I get 14. Double this, I get 8. Cut this in half, I get 7. All my pairs of factors are laid out here. So I have x plus and x minus. One of these needs to be positive, one needs to be negative. All right? Now, when I multiply these, I have to do a double smiley face. That double smiley face has to add up to be negative 1. So I'm going to go with 7 and 8. X plus 8, x minus 7. That gives me a positive 8x minus 7x equals 1x. I don't want 1x, I want negative 1. So all I do is switch the sign. This becomes a negative, this becomes a positive. Don't even need to use my eraser. So my final answer, x plus 7 and x minus 8. All right, let's do a couple more. All right, here's our next one, 3x cubed plus 6x squared minus 18x. Always look for the greatest common factor. My greatest common factor in this case is 3, because 3 goes into 3, 6, and 18. And since I have 3 factors of x, 2 factors of x, 1 factor of x, each of them has at least 1x, my greatest common factor is 3x. I then do my reverse multiplication. 3 times what? 1 is 3. 3 times what is 6? 2. And I need an x. 3 times what is 18? 6. And I don't need any more x's. My factors of 6 are 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. Because this is a positive, this is a negative, well, mostly because this is a negative, one has to be negative and one has to be positive. And then I try to factor it. 3x, 1 positive, 1 negative, and we go with 6 and 1. Do the double smiley face. 6x and minus 1x. 5x, it's not 2. That doesn't work. Get out the eraser. We erase this. We erase this. And we try 2 and 3. 2 and 3. I get 2x minus 3x negative 1x. Not that. I've exhausted all possibilities. So we're all done here. This is my final answer. Not always going to be able to continue. All right, let's look at one last example. All right, x to the 4th minus 12x cubed plus 32x squared. All right. My greatest common factor is x squared, because I have 4, 3, and 2. I have at least 2 factors of x. And then I factor that out, x squared minus 12x plus 32. And the factors of 32, 32 and 1, double 1 I get 2, cut this in half I get 16, double 2 I get 4, cut 4 in half I get 8, double 4 I get 8, cut this in half. We're starting to repeat ourselves. These are the only factors of 32. Now, because this is positive, both my factors have to have a positive or a negative, because negative times negative is positive. But because this is negative, they both need to be negative. And I know what the answer is. Minus 8 minus 4. Minus 8x minus 4x gives me minus 12x. And we're done. All right. I hope that refreshes your memory. Tomorrow's video will be on case 2. We'll look at a few examples. Should be a little bit quicker. And have a great day. See you tomorrow.